Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
On the morning drive now, taking a closer look at the state of freelancing in the UAE, how it's evolving, how Ramadan impacts the workflow and the productivity, and what it really takes to build a sustainable, independent career here. So, to give it a little bit of context, the UAE has positioned itself as a regional hub for entrepreneurs, for creatives, for independent professionals. And what you have now are some flexible licensing options, and remote work is kind of becoming the norm. But how does freelancing actually function on the ground is the question, particularly during Ramadan, when working hours shift, business rhythms change, I guess to an extent, body clocks change as well for many people. So joining us this morning, a couple of industry professionals, one who is generally here most mornings, Faraj. Why am I calling you Farid? Where did that come from? Faraj Rehman, who is known as Farajio. You may hear us talking about him. He's kind of behind the scenes, but front scenes today. Audio engineer by training and also tech producer. Nice to see you, Farajio.
Hello, everybody.
Also, JM Avelino is a freelance director who works across creative productions in the UAE. JM's with us as well. Good to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here.
So look, let's start with the kinds of freelance things that you do. Get a feel of where you are in your industry. JM, let's start with you. What stuff are you up to at the moment?
As of the moment, I'm doing concert. I'm a concert director.
Yeah.
Just finished this year 2 concerts. Had it in World Trade Center.
Yeah.
And I think I have some few more, and expanding to the GCC area.
And because you started in short films, and then you're now, why concert work? Just the direction? You just got led down that path, or was it something you set out to do?
Concert directing. It's a more niche industry.
Sure.
It's comparing to some short film director or ads, advertising, and everything. It's more on a long-term job.
Right, okay.
Compared to short films or directing ads or directing. It's a long process compared to the short films or commercials.
Sure.
It took like 3-4 months project before it comes to reality.
Okay, so it's kind of the project basis. And I suppose there's more and more work available. There's no shortage of events, is there?
Exactly. There is more need for concert directors or event director compared to like doing short films, and plus the income is more steady compared to short film.
And as a freelancer, that's one of the keys. No, I can imagine. Farajio, you're here manning the desk at Mira Business FM most of the time, obviously. Yeah. But I know you get involved in some of the things you do, sound projects, you do studio projects as well, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I've done certain projects. I was also part of building a studio around Kite Beach. I don't know if I can say the name of the producer, actually the musician, also a producer.
Yeah, go on. Why not?
Yeah, Yo-Yo Honey Singh.
Okay.
Yeah. He's an Indian rapper. Mm-hmm. So, I worked with him just to build basically a music studio.
Okay.
In his basement.
All right. So 2 people who work on a freelance basis here in Dubai. So reasonable kind of case studies, I suppose. Let me ask you, JM, I'll ask you first of all, how does freelance workflow typically change during Ramadan when you compare, the holy months to the rest of the year?
Technically, most of the projects are planned in advance. So technically, it doesn't really affect us on the month of the holy month of Ramadan. However, there are some few minor events that we cover during this month, and it's about more on a planned event, more on a planned community event than really into a bigger scope of.
So a lot less ad hoc work coming in.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, technically. So I guess that's just points to the slowdown, really. Do you think there is a real tangible slowdown? Is that really a thing in Ramadan? Do you think people are concentrating in other areas?
Technically, there is a slowdown because it's more on focused on the community event, like iftar or very specific event during the 40 days of the holy month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
But technically, all of the works are really planned ahead of time, so there is no. If you got the project already, it doesn't really have the slowdown. Maybe it's the hours, but technically the workflow itself is still
Okay. But more planned in
Planned,
advance.
yes.
Right, I've got you. Faraj, what about you? I know you have to put up with me most days here. But how do you find Ramadan from a freelance perspective?
So from a freelance perspective, so I'd say before August 4, when I joined in with Mira Business FM,
Yeah.
I was doing freelance stuff. And, before August 4th, of course, there was Ramadan came in, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually having a real hard time finding, gigs, especially to do with music because generally what we get right now nowadays is in Ramadan time is either to do with, basically, iftar or talking about, food and, cooking and whatnot. But the other thing is basically conferences, a lot of conferences, especially, in this region, because it has nothing to do with, music or whatever you would think of. So, yeah. So you'd usually get, so I've usually got, a couple of conferences. And
Yeah.
that's the gist of it, to be honest.
So, I
But
mean,
nothing to do with
sound
music.
engineering is sound engineering, isn't it? Whether it's, that's what you were trained for, audio engineering.
Yeah, but of course, at the end of the day, it's all about money, right? And at the concert, you get paid the most because of the artist, the merchandising, and everything
Right.
involved in it. Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Do you think payment cycles or maybe turnaround expectations are affected during Ramadan, JM?
Oh yeah. Let's be real. Payments are really a bit delayed because I think there's a process, bank processes as well. Bank hours are shifted a little bit shorter. Payments are a little bit delayed. But it's only like a month. It's I believe so. Our clients are really up to date when they're doing the payments, and it comes with payment terms. So if you fall on the month, maybe just a little bit of delay, maybe a week or two.
Okay. I mean, attention is diverted, isn't it, during
Yes.
Ramadan, I guess. On a broader level, I'm going to ask you both this, actually. JM, I'll start with you. How would you describe, and I know we're talking about very specific sectors, although your sectors kind of cross over, I think, in some ways. How would you describe the current freelance market in the UAE?
Oh, as of the moment, it's very competitive, but however, it's also expanding. Well, there are a lot of people who come into Dubai, especially to work as freelance from everywhere else, actually. Asians.
It's still relatively a new thing, isn't it? In terms of the licenses that you can now take when you come to the UAE.
Technically, yes. What's happening right now is people are more into freelancing here in the UAE. Plus, the rules of getting their licenses are a little bit easier compared before. That before you need to have a sponsor, you need to work with this certain company, but now it's the government is more easier to all the freelancers. There are a lot of hubs now that you can just pay to get your licenses and stuff, and you can have remote offices as well. If like me, I'm doing creatives. It's easier for me to work outside the four corners of the office. So
yeah. No, I can understand that. I mean, it's much easier. I mean, it seems like everybody's got a side hustle these days, and
Yes.
there are licenses that you can apply for that work ostensibly on a freelance basis, but they offer the opportunity to legalize your side hustle, which is important. Faraj, what about you? How do you see the current freelance market?
It's a lot more saturated now, isn't it? Like, especially as he mentioned, there are a lot more people coming in, so you have a lot of different backgrounds of basically ideation and also skill set. A person from a certain place, of course, probably is good at doing something. Like for example, Japanese directors, small-time directors, focus on film science a lot more than an average person would do. Like from here, let's say,
Okay.
unless they've studied all that stuff. So so you get a lot, and it's saturated too because like now there's like three different, because we use line arrays now. We're using professional technology with up-to-date industries, right? So to use a line array, you need a person who has enough experience in line arrays because they are not normal speakers. You need to learn the smart system, which is created by Shure to measure the speed of sound, for example. So, so there's a person who knows how to use a smart system. Then there's a person who knows how to place it properly, just the placement of the speaker. And then there's a person who draws out the whole map of how the sound is going to project. So you have three people just working on a single line array. Forget about the desk itself.
Yeah.
Or any kind of, or microphones, even. Just three people on one single, as people would see it in layman terms, is just a really giant L-shaped speaker. Not L-shaped, it's more like a Cheeto. I don't describe the shape of the liner.
More like a Cheeto. There's the Instagram reel from this interview for you. But I see what you mean. So, more saturation. So, try and excel in your niche is the thing, isn't it? To stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of the freelance market. Which industries do you think? I know you work in specific sectors, but, as freelancers, you meet other freelancers, you get to meet people, you have connections and contacts, etc. But JM, what industries in the UAE are offering maybe the best opportunities at the moment?
As of the moment, creative production, events, web hosting, stuff like that, and more on technical production. It's more in need here in the UAE.
Right.
Technically, I don't know. Building up concerts, you need to have your own team working on it.
Yep.
Although it's very competitive, that we have this set of like concert directors as well, technical people, but still, I think UAE needs more people to work on that area.
And there's more and more demand, more and more
Yes.
going on, more and more happening.
Oh yeah, there's too many concerts happening in a year, and every weekend there is a lot of concert, local, international, community based, like Filipinos, Indians, and other nationalities. So there is really a demand actually. Plus there are events coming on. There are some small events, corporate events. So technically there is a demand. However, there are few that we still need more people who are technically aligned to the industry, that they know what they're really doing, because this job is not just an overnight job that tomorrow you can work on it.
You see, that's interesting because, if you have expertise in something and you decide you want to work for yourself, you can now go and take a freelance license. That's great. And there are lots of people that are really good at doing what they do. There are also lots of people who take a freelance license and maybe aren't as good at what they do.
Yes, there are a lot actually.
Yeah.
Promises you to deliver, but at the end of the day, you don't get the results properly.
Yeah.
And you can actually background check the ability of the person or his experience based on the technical terms that he's using, what past jobs he worked with, who he have worked with, what are the events that has he produced. So technically, those are the basis for those people who. There are a lot of people who wants to be in this industry, but technically, it requires you to work. You need to have the experience to really work.
Can you do
for
it? Can you cut it in a professional environment? Is the key, isn't it? And that's the key to succeeding, I suppose. It leads me to the competition question, really, because if we've got more and more people coming in, there is more and more opportunity. That's naturally going to mean more competition, more freelancers, lots of remote professionals coming in because it is easier.
Yep.
How is competition?
Technically, I don't find it really there is a competition in our industry.
Is that just because you're really good at it?
I don't know. Humility aside, or I think so. Yeah.
No, but you see that, but that's a very fair thing because you need to believe in yourself
Yes.
if you're a freelancer that little bit more, don't you? You've got to have that extra confidence.
Yes. Actually, it requires you to be confident in what you're doing and you believe in what you do. It always comes with learning as well. It's not an overnight thing. You need to have a really huge experience of doing this, and you get the B to really do it. Because at the end of the day, you are handling several people. You have your floor directors, light director. You have your technical people. You have production. You have creatives. You have your marketing team. Huge work. And if you don't know what you're really doing, at the end of the day, it's nothing.
I see what you mean. We've got just a few minutes left, and I really wanted to ask you. Freelancing is a thing where you're going out on your own. Very often, it's just you doing it. So there's a great deal more to think about. You don't have the backup of a corporate or a business or a firm or a team behind you. So there's that much more on your mind, and then you're dealing with bureaucratic aspects, the administrative aspects, the accounting aspects as well. So you've got to be kind of a jack of all trades. So it's daunting, I think, for a lot of people. Rewarding, but there's always that paradigm of risk and reward, isn't there?
Yes.
So I was going to ask you for advice. If you come to the UAE, you need to build up connections. You've got to be aware of that. But if you do jump in, what advice would you give someone considering a freelance path?
My advice is you need to take a lot of heart to do freelancing.
Okay.
It's at first I do have you need to be resilient as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need to do good. You need to work on your work ethics. You really need to work on your craft, and you need to study hard. It's not an overnight thing. Doing freelancing requires you a lot of experience as well. You need to be really good in what you're doing. Maybe to thrive and to really work on the bigger scale, you really need to invest on yourself.
Yeah. There's also, I always think, look, I'm freelance for a long, long time, and I always think there's kind of a mindset shift you have to go through. You got to take the responsibility. I'm not saying that there's anything particularly difficult about it, but resilient was a word there that you used, and I think that's key. That's really important. You got to be able to take the knocks, really.
Yes, at the end of the day, you take all the heart to do it, because especially on this job, you deal with many and several people every day to work with. You have your producers, you have your line staff, everything, even your creative staff. You need to be tough. You know where to go on top or when to go down.
And you got to learn to multitask as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of important. Just a quick word from Faraj before we go to the news. Would you agree with JM?
I agree with everything he said, because people come around and teach you self-love, but self-love can only come from you actually honing your skill and becoming the sharpest tool in the shed and actually cutting through everything. That's how you get noticed.
All right, then. That's our freelance conversation this morning. Faraj Rehman is the man otherwise known as Farajio in the studios of Mira Business FM, but also a freelancer as well. Thanks for your contributions, Farajio. And JM Avelino is a concert director. How do I describe you? What's the best way to describe you?
Concert director, overall concert director, producer,
freelancer, producer,
director.
you name it, he'll have a go. I appreciate it. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much, Tim. Have a great day.
Really good to have you.